Hello everyone and welcome. Today we'll be taking a look at a highlight professional best-of-3 series of StarCraft 2. Joining me here, map number 1 shall be ley lines. The upper right corner shall belong to a Zerg player, a fan favorite. I know, it is Dark. And their Protoss opponent, the hope for the Golden Armada in today's series, it is Zoun. Getting at assimilator. You assimilate that gas there, dear Protoss. Make it aligned with your ideals, your thoughts, your beliefs. Do you give the Vespene gas the Kala? If you could, of course. No more Kala, we know. Legacy of the Void things, but assimilation, my thoughts about that. Zoun sending that probe across, not going to be successful so far in blocking this hatch. Dark slapped that one down quite quickly, with great haste, I'll say. But nothing else really out of the ordinary. No shenanigans seen yet, no proxies, no forge at the very least. One great thing to differentiate this match from my recent viewer games that I've casted. You guys have been at each other's throats, we shall say. Some rather short, some rather aggressive matches I've had, but hopefully today's series will be a bit of a change. We can see things maybe go a bit longer, a bit more battle-filled here. Worker combat ensues, the probe just being a nuisance more than anything else. The core on the other side finishes up. Adept will be the first choice. Interesting wall off here. Zoun deciding to leave the gap over by the pylon. Curious. Usually you see a lot of them choose to make it between the gate and the core for that block in case you have to get the adept out right there pretty quickly, but it's a decision, it's a choice, to each their own. Many walls that come in different forms, different flavors, unless you're Terran, and then it's probably just a bunch of supply depots. Probe deciding to head home. Adept not actually going to complete that shade just yet, perhaps waiting for their Adept friend. Buddy system, of course, always important for Protoss scouting. Stargate was the tech choice. Not an Oracle, though. It's a Void Ray. I take it back, might not be so different from you guys' viewer games, huh? The Adept here on the other side, gonna spot that third hatch. Now just looking for a bit of information, a bit of intel. I don't expect even one commitment to these shades when the Adept is by itself. That would be foolish, foolhardy. Throwing away that Adept is throwing away precious scouting information and intel. The Void Ray completes, will immediately snipe off that initial Overlord. Gonna deny Dark a bit of vision. Force Dark really to send some links across. I think Zoun actually delayed that Nexus just slightly. Saw the Zerglings coming, wanted to make sure that Dark wasn't trying to commit to some sort of attack, which I can agree with. When you slap it down, of course, it's at its most vulnerable. Only have maybe 100 health and shields total there. Completely vulnerable, open to attack. Yeah, that's... I mean, that is one place you can put, the opening, I suppose. I don't like it just because I feel like when you see the pylon as part of the wall, you're just drawn to attack it. It's just too juicy of a target. I really don't know how I feel about that. The Void Ray heading across. Another Void Ray. 2 Void Rays. Will we see a third? Perhaps not. Jeez, almost losing the Oracle on the first engagement, too. Kills 2 drones. We do see a third. 3 Void Rays this fine day. Intriguing. This was not on my bingo card today. A Void Ray opener from the Protoss. Curious. Very curious. Zoun not going for what we would all probably colloquially dub the hero style, where we get a bunch of Blink Stalkers and Oracles together. No, Zoun's going a little bit of a different flavor here. We've got Void Rays coming up to help with the defense charge. Behind this is pretty quick Templar Archives too. Rather speedy. Dark, prepped with a decent amount of queens, though. Should be able to handle, I think, the initial defense. And a Spire. Now, is this... I'm curious, what is prompting the Spire here? Dark, of course, knows about the Stargate choice. I'm not sure Dark has actually seen 3 Void Rays, though. Is that the choice? Well, it's gonna see it now. 3 Void Rays here. I think they'll get that hatch. Yeah, they definitely get it. Charging up, getting that extra damage. Dark cancels it, though. The last possible second. Blink of a Zerg eye there. Lings on the other side. They have an Archon. They have an Archon, gents. I don't think that's going to go very well for the Zerglings. Stasis trap's already down. The Spire. Was this Dark's plan all along? Is Dark just going for, I'm assuming, a Muta play? Because Bold is the man who makes Corruptors to fight Void Rays. Void Rays usually, it's the other way around. Void Rays are usually the solid answer to Corruptors. I'm going to assume it's Mutas. The Lings not doing a whole lot, really. Neither one of them really doing much of anything at this point. The resources lost. We haven't even hit 1,000 resources. Also, Zoun, flawless game so far. Doing a bit of damage, doing a few attacks here. We've hit the 7-minute mark. 0 losses. I feel like that's remarkable. That's commendable. Not even losing 1 probe. The choice is Mutas from that Spire. We'll get to see a bit of Zerg Flyers take the field here. Prism coming online for Zoun as well. Things seem to be coming together, a bit of a charge lot Archon style. Certainly missing a few charge lots right now, but those are quite easy to acquire later on. They're also not going to be particularly helpful up against the Mutas. Lings testing the waters at that 4th base. Muta's going to fly into the natural nexus here, start to pick off some of the workers. Not enough Mutas, I think, to really be scary at this point in time. Zoun doesn't even seem to care. Zoun just sends the army across. Archons, Voids working together. Zoun sitting here saying, yeah, you send your Mutas to fight me. Come on. My Archons are waiting. My Archons are ready. Stalker Phoenix at home, ready to help out with a bit of defense. Now, this decision has been a bit costly, I will say. Zoun has thrown away 14 probes to these just ragtag group of Mutas. And behind this, Dark has been prepping an actual ground defense, something not Mutalisk shaped. We'll see if it comes into play. Zoun, I mean, the army supply, they're essentially even right now, but there's still a bit of supply in the Mutas, which we can't really factor into this battle, not just because they're way over here on the other side of the map, but because they're Mutas. Okay, you don't really fight Archons with Mutas. That's not advisable at such low numbers. The Void's denying that hatchery, picking off the drone as well, it looks like. Now, like, Dark had like 12 Mutas making, okay, and they're all gone now. That was an investment, I would say, that relatively fine. I mean, trading for 17 probes, 12 Mutas, God, that's a lot of gas, though. I don't really like it. I don't really like the sound of it. When I think about all the numbers, I put everything out on paper, I don't really like that trade. 1,200 minerals and gas for 17 probes, essentially. I mean, forcing out a few Phoenix, maybe. We could try to weave those numbers in there. The Roaches staring angrily at the Phoenix, wondering why we haven't unlocked a Roach siege mode yet, where it sits down, kind of on its back, tilts itself upwards, and can spit the bile straight up. You tell me I'm not crazy with that one. Extra Stargate mothership on the way. Ground army testing the Zerg, the creep flavored waters there. Looks like Dark's actually itching for a fight here. to zoom out. Decent arc. The Archons are going to hold the defense, though. Don't touch those force fields, guys. Force fields, of course, very susceptible to massive units. Archons, Colossi, your mother, all equivalent in the equation there. Recall will be initiated. Zerglings will be dealt with. Immortal holding the door. This is going to set up Dark to be able to get an army over here, though. Still a decent amount of defenses, though. Zoun just kind of split the army there, pulled some of it back to the 4th base over here, recalled just a little bit else. The Stargate. The Stargate was the choice. Blink is just about done. I think Zoun's itching to go into a more air-based composition, though. With the mothership coming online, that's going to help out. A great support unit. Tempests appear to be the first choice. Dark responding with a lurker den, which is not going to be supremely helpful up against a mothership and Tempest, but will be helpful up against pretty much anything that has legs and occasionally touches them on the ground. So I think it's a fine decision so far. Tectonic destabilizers coming up, help out those Tempest. We'll see if Zoun wants to weave in more air units. He's maxed out right now, so there's not a whole lot of flexibility with that. There's a few Adepts over here. They go for the Hydra. Adepts actually pretty great at shredding Hydras, thanks to that bonus versus light. It's Shade over here, but the Lings are already ready. We'll deal with that. Group of Zealots just waiting, chilling over here, cataloging the local lava, I guess. Not really any flora or fauna going on over there. Storm is the next choice from Zoun. Okay. Recognizing the importance of Storm in that Sky Toss, that Armada style. I'll say that is the secret answer that Protoss tend to miss when you go for things like, Mass Carrier, Mass Tempest. Sure, it's powerful, strong, but it's not the unwinnable, Golden Armada Sky Toss level. You need the splash damage in there to shut down a lot of the answers from the Zerg here. And speaking of the Zerg here, Dark casually denying the Nexus, but also throwing away a lot of the army units here. Is it an intentional choice? What's Dark trying to respond with? A lot of Zerglings. Okay. Maybe not quite the intended choice there. Lunge is going to complete, allowing the Hydras to get a little bit of a speed boost there, in case they have to get out of some splash damage areas. Another recall's initiated. Zoun, wanting to focus on the defense, does not want to give up these bases at the cost of getting some damage done too. So Dark is kind of pulling Zoun around here, making sure that Zoun is not on Dark side of the map, doing whatever Zoun wants to do. Lings sent way over here. Do they have Adrenal? They do have Adrenal, so these are some very scary, hungry Zerglings. Another group just causing a bit of ruckus within the mineral line. Zealots, actually very successful Zealots over here, getting a hatchery. 5 drones plus the hatch. Dark will deny the Nexus that was over here, but they're both still just kind of trading, taking bites out of each other. I see Neural Parasite on the way. And Dark, I think, could be looking at the future with that move there. Seeing more Tempest hit the field. Zoun's gone up to 5 Tempest. I'm assuming that is going to be Dark's answer then. Zealots. I love that Zealots don't really have to care about lurkers if there's not enough lurkers. You think about lurkers and you're like, wow, lurkers should be really good against Zealots. Yes, but Zealots have one thing that you probably forgot about, and that's apathy. They are totally fine to keep on doing their thing. Their lives for ire, after all. This group, they're just trying to pull the army a little out of position. Another set of Zerglings looking for any opening, any opportunities. Zoun not giving him the time of day with such trivialities, though. Tempest still rocking their existence here. And Zoun's been maxed out, so we haven't seen really anything else be added on. Now, at some point, somebody's going to have to try to pull the trigger here. The Archon count is at 7. Templar counts at 6. They do have Storm. I saw Storm complete a little bit ago. So Zoun's got the composition. I would say probably wants to add on some carriers. That was my thought. I was like, you probably are looking to clear up a little supply to get a few carriers, just to cause a bit of chaos. A bit of havoc here. Group of Hydras, good old hit and run drillists over here will get a little bit done. I think picking off a cannon, pylon maybe, but nothing too major. Dark doesn't appear to want to fight the army. If Dark can avoid it, I do agree with the choice. This is kind of a scary army right now. The Infestors are on their way, but I don't think they can get here quick enough. Dark does have a couple Vipers, so might be able to get a little bit of work done with some abducts, of course, on the non-mothership targets. I said probably target the Tempest. They probably go for the... Oh, the solid feedbacks, though. Zoun ready with that feedback command. The Vipers are gone. No more hope for the abducts. It's going to be up to, I think, the Infestors now to try to stop this Protoss aggression. Speaking of Infestors, they're not even here. Okay, Dark says, what if? Now hold on to that thought. What if I don't fight you? The huge brain move there. The Hydras lunge into position, trying to go after the carriers. They're not even going to get the one. Good grief. Knocking it down to about half hull, half health damage there. And this group should be cleaned up. There's not enough Hydras now to contest the carriers. Zoun probably feeling a little confident. Cloak is initiated. Detection. That's a lot of spores. They're trying to get there, but they're not going to get there. The first neural parasite is shown. It's going to be on an Archon of all things. Feedback initiated on the Infestor that is using neural parasite. Not quite the optimal usage I think Zoun may have been hoping for, but at the end of it all, I'm going to say that was a good thing for Zoun, because destroying the base, killing off a few drones, forcing out the neural, always nice to see. Picking off the Vipers, of course, that was always good too. Dark just adding on more lurkers, I think hoping for more of an opportunity to use the Infestors. I'm really curious what the choice is going to be. You can't tell me it's for the Archons. If Dark had a lot of Corruptors, I would say the Archons are a solid choice to neural, because you're trying to take things out of the equation. Like the drones that were here, apparently. Oh god, really? Really? They get the hatchery. Zoun has been getting some serious work done with these Zealot run-bys. I keep talking about the Protoss army, the armada that we've got going on here, but the Zealots are putting in just as much work, just as much value. Total of 6 hatches have been killed off. And I think most of them have been to Zealots. I know this army picked off at least one, but gosh, the run-bys, the harassment. Dark losing bases, losing economy. Look at the banks right now, guys. The money is a telling story. The game's not over yet, of course, because the armies will still probably clash at some point, I guess, unless they silently agree to just never engage. But the money's telling a story. Dark is going to have a harder time trying to replace these things. Tempests go after the spores. Oh, the Infestors, though. Solid neurals coming out. 3 of the Tempests will be snagged. Do you move them over here? I think so, but there's not really any Hydras. Oh, there they are. The Hydras finally show up for work today. A little late. No, really? Don't let him get away. Oh, my word. Just barely. He lost the hatchery at the expense. Zoun says, fine. Take my 3 Tempests. I will go after your hatchery. Wow. The amount of cancels. This doesn't show the amount of cancels. Okay, mind you. This shows kills. But it's certainly been quite a bit. Now, Zoun lost those few Tempests. Looks to be just replacing them with Tempests. Clearly once the Tempest is okay with that. I'm throwing away a few probes now, too, just trying to clear up supply. with that decision. I worry for the Zerg's economy at this stage, though. Losing the bases, losing a bit of mining. Dark does have a little bit more of a bank built up now. Has been maxed out for the better part of a minute, but it's still gonna hurt. Zoun, of course, way ahead in terms of the bank, so sitting on close to 8,000 resources total there. Got some Brood War Terran music in the background, thanks to the severe lack of Terrans in this match, I'm sure. Protoss forces looking to engage, and Archon will be yoinked and is gonna get away. It's a good day for the Archons, I suppose. Lurkers trying to shuffle around the Tempest cause quite a complication for the Lurkers, though. This is a really good kind of example of the counters here. The Lurkers will deal with the Archons and the Templar. The Tempests deal with the Lurkers. The Infestors deal with the Tempests, but the Templar deal with the Infestors. Not quick enough. Decent storm goes out. You can see where they are, of course. Don't have to care about feedbacking them if you just want to storm, I suppose. Ooh, got the lunge forward. It's like an aggressive blink, but Zerg flavored. That startled me. The Hydras, I'm not sure about really wanting to move forward here. Turning more into Lurkers. You already have 19. What is this? Is Dark just hoping to knurl all of the air units? He's got +3 flyer attack and 9 more infestors on the way. Huh. I mean, he's still got 21 Hydras, so it's not like he's turning all of the Hydras into Lurkers. It's just going to be a bit of a high number. I mean, 19 Lurkers. Did he cancel? I'm thinking maybe he canceled it. Okay. I agree with the choice. I think 19 Lurkers is enough, considering the only real threats on the ground are the Archons. The amount of air units Zoun has been weaving in, I think, is probably the bigger threat. Actually, we've suddenly hit 7 carriers. He's taking this base. My base now. Okay. I'm definitely liking the Protoss's position. The army composition, I think, makes a lot more sense to me. Things are going to work well together. A lot of synergy built into there. It's just going to be a monster to control. And y'all in the comments, I know you're like, a Protoss, an army, a monster control. This army? Yes. You try this. Okay, you get all these pieces together and try not to lose those Templar. I see your games. I know. Okay. Night is Warm, attempted, will be dealt with. Few Dark Templar being woven in. DT Blink is a choice. Really? Huh. He's trying it again. God, the Tempest deals so much damage to buildings. Zerg group over here, top side. Recall will be initiated. That pesky recall spell. If only Zoun wouldn't recall the spell, sadly. Then Dark might be able to get some damage done, but all that's really going on now is just splitting of the army. If Zoun gets everything together, actually takes the fight, and deals with really just the Infestors. I think the Infestors is probably the easiest thing to pick off. If they're above ground, you can feedback them. If not, storm them. How many Templar do you have? Still 5 Templar. They're kind of scattered around slowly, not waddling, slowly floating their way up here. Zoun's got an Oracle out here too to help with the Revelation tag, spotting of those Lurkers. Zoun's itching for the fight again. Alright, the Infestors are below ground. Dark doesn't want to take the battle here, it looks like. Setting up the spores. Ugh, God, setting up the spores feels like a waste of spores. A couple Hydras. No. What do we got going on over here? Just a group of Zerglings? Oh, they're just DTs. They're not going to get anything done. Alright, focus over here. We've got the battle. Dark's going to try to knurl, I think. Detection's gone out on some of the Infestors, some of the Lurkers. Protoss army. Have to be really careful. They both have to be really careful with this. One move, I think somebody loses their whole army. Burst of the Neurals. Storm immediately in response. Oh my gosh. Vaporize the Infestors. Zoun, I think, is controlling this plenty fine. The Tempests are shelling away at the borders of the army. The Infestor count, what are we up to? We're down to 5. Only 5 Infestors. 11 Corruptors are the choice from Dark, which I don't think is going to be enough, actually. I think there's too many units still. If Dark can get rid of the Archons, then maybe, but I just don't see it really coming together. 15 Corruptors still in the production. I don't think now's the time, Dark. You want to have all of these things together. Storm goes out, more feedbacks. The Infestors are gone. There's only one left. Drones in peril thanks to Dark Templar over here too. The Corruptors start to pick away at the Tempest. It's not even gonna come to it. Dark ran out of gas, both figuratively and literally, I think. The Protoss army just too difficult to peel apart. There, all of the pieces working well. Zoun is going to take map number 1. Map number 2 in the series shall be Ultra Love. The upper right corner shall once again belong to the blue Zerg, having a bit of a tough time. Map number 1, though, it is Dark. And the bottom left shall belong to the puzzle building Protoss. You're getting all those pieces together and actually controlling them rather well. It is Zoun. Will we see more of the same? That was a lengthy match, I'll give you that. That one, they certainly took their sweet time getting all of those puzzle pieces together and then sometimes mildly clashing. Neural parasites were a good touch and quality thumbnail material there, but at the end of the day, Zoun is the one, the victor for that one. We'll see. We'll be able to carry that momentum forward, or will Dark strike back, maybe a bit of a stronger mid-game timing. I certainly would like to see things a little shaken up, not quite a sweep here, just domination by one. I'm in it for the games, for the fans, after all. Got things looking, I'll say, relatively normal again. PvZ, like, there's only so many openers, okay? If you're gonna do anything that's not an early rush, you're essentially doing the same thing for the first few minutes of the match. You're getting your gateway, you're getting your core, probably getting your Stargate, unless you might be somebody who's trying to poorly impersonate Hero and get Blink first, but you really should just get that Stargate. Yeah. The Zerg, of course, on the other side, very similar, same deal, same story there. You're getting your hatch, your gas, your pool, and as many drones as you possibly can for the first few minutes, and hoping, crossing all of your claws and tendrils and whatnot that you don't die. Zerg builds in a nutshell. And see, not actually following up with the extra adept here. Zoun's going for a stalker. I wonder if this is a tell in and of itself that things are going to be rather different. Or is Zoun just wanting to deny maybe Overlord vision that's right here? Possible. It's an Oracle first. Okay, definitely different then. We saw multiple Void Rays. Void Rays in numbers that surprised me, actually, at the start of the last one. So that things are going to be quite different so far. This is, I'll say, possibly towards the more somewhat now normal Hero style. And don't fully wall off. Space will be maintained between second gate and the core. Oracle is going to finish up. The real tell will be what is the follow-up, what's coming up after the Oracle. Is it, cross your fingers, I'll say it, Moracles? Fantastic. Perfect. The Overlord was picked off. A few Zerglings just looking at the front door, seeing if you've kept up, all of your HOA maintenance. Is that lawn well maintained? Trees trimmed? Door not painted some sort of absurd color? I'm sorry if you like your front door painted in orange. It's a bit bright for my taste. Little vibrant. But to each their own at the end of the day. Dark's getting the hatches together. Drones now are the focus, I think. Oracle just really following the Zerglings here. Zoun really wants to pick off these Zerglings. He's doing a decent job at it, too. Not going for the drones, though. Usually you would send the oracles across. I mean, it could just be waiting for the third oracle. Oracles, they do work, best in triplets. I'm sure somebody said at some point. Forge, Twilight. If it's Blink from the Twilight, then this is definitely different setup. The Adepts being annoying. Oracle equally annoying, but nobody's really getting any major damage done. Dark is doing fine, still just droning up. Queens in position to help out with the defense. Oracle's coming together, joining up. The third left at home, so definitely wanting to keep a little bit for the defense. It is Blink. Okay, this is definitely different setup. Very different looking game here. I think this is going to be much more mid-game focused. Zoun was using those Void Rays to kind of catapult into some later game tech. In the last one, we got Archons out really quickly, able to secure Stargate, Fleet Beacon, those kinds of resources. Even Dark, I think, is looking to do things a bit quicker, a bit more aggressive this round. The lair completes an immediate Hydra Den and a Bane Nest, so we're looking possibly at just a 3-base drone count, cutting at about 66, and going for a Hydra Bane Bust. On Zoun's side, of course, readying the Stalkers, getting Blink together, is going to want to, I think, do a bit of mid-game damage himself. Ooh, does not have to cancel this. Oh. Overlord's helping out with the creep highway. They're letting the Queens get into position to defend. This is a proxy gate. Ooh, Zoun is definitely looking to do some damage, start some aggression here. I think is going to start to rally the Stalkers over to the far right side. Oracles will be able to help out. Now, Zoun has not continued making Oracles. I will say it's still just at 3. Not like Heroes here, sometimes going for freaking double-digit Oracles out here. The Stalkers head down the ramp first. They spot the Queens. What does Dark have for the defense? Right now, it's mostly Zerglings. A few Hydras are on the way, though. Is Blink done? Yeah, Blink is done. Alright, good. Don't move into here. The first stasis is a bit of a bust. Only catching one Zergling. Dark trying to waddle the way up the ramp here. The Queen's doing a bit more damage to that than helping, thanks to how much space they take up. Don't tell them I said that, though. I love Queens. The Lings, well, they're trapped in the stasis. Dark has to pull back a bit. When the Lings come out here, this might get a little awkward for Zoun. Not looking like Zoun's going to be sticking around for it. Not to say if you let those Zerglings surround you, that's going to be quite funny. This is a lot of Hydras. 16 Hydras. I'm not sure Zoun actually expected Dark to cut the drones at 3 base. This is turning out to be a lot of Hydra lists. Hydras are a decent anti-gateway unit. They're not that bad, actually, against Stalkers. If it's Stalkers by themselves. Not, perfect, not ideal, I'll say. Much prefer things like Lurkers, if possible, but things are looking fine, I'll say. Dark definitely not dead. I would say not even close to it. And Zoun has cut the workers as well. They both Zoun just started workers back up, but they both kind of silently decided to go for this mid-game style here. And the Zerglings are going to end up blocking a bit of movement. Their Hydra's desperately trying to get up the ramp, but it's now when you surround, go for the flank. What's Dark building behind us? A lot of Zerglings coming up. Centrifugal hooks for the severe lack of Banelings. Banes aren't going to be incredibly helpful up against this right now. If Zoun had more Zealots, I would say it might be helpful. More Zounlets, of course. Hydra's doing decently. Count is dwindling, though. This reinforcing warp in position is absolute godsend for the Protoss. If Zoun gives this up, though, it's going to be a big cost. Big loss to the momentum there. The Oracles circumvent the army, go for just a few of the drones, but there's not really a lot of drones at that 4th base. Going for, instead, something else. No, just kind of heading out. I think Dark wants to get rid of this proxy. Yeah, definitely want to get rid of that warp in position there. Oh my gosh, and Hydra's in position, able to kill off 2 of the 3 Oracles. Should they get the 3rd? Oh, 3 health. Barely not going to get that 3rd one. Dark's going to spot the Blink Stalkers moving around, rotating to the left side here. Struggling to get into position here. These Hydras do not have lunge, of course. That requires a bit more tech, but Dark doesn't seem to be too bothered about it. Might be able to get a little bit of a surround here, start to corner the Stalkers. Recall initiated. Most of them will make it out. Oh, 40 Banes in production. Alright, now it's busting time, Zerg players. Zoun collapses the rock tower, knows what's coming, I think. Has Zoun seen the Bane Nest? Zoun has seen the Bane Nest, so I think Zoun knows. Okay, this is what Dark has been building towards. This is what Dark's been kind of wanting to do. Had to change the plans a little bit to defend. Zoun does have Storm. The Zerg... He's not even gonna come into play. The Banes, a bit too much, way too many Hydras. The army supply just vastly outweighing the Protoss here. So Dark is gonna snap back, take map number 2, which means grand finale time. The grand finale will be played on the map El Dorado here. The bottom left corner shall belong once again to the Protoss Zoun. Which means... No, not the upper right. This map isn't set up that way. The bottom right corner shall belong to the Zerg, fighting back, getting a win on the board. It is Dark. Which means I think now I can say that it's anybody's game, truth be told. This will end here and now, one way or another. Somebody's going down. Somebody's taking this series. Will it be as explosive as map number 2? Will it be a shorter, aggressive styled match? Or will it be like map number 1, a bit lengthier, a bit more tech involved, more of a back and forth cat and mouse situation? We shall see. Next few minutes will tell, as mentioned, of course, PVZ. They're going to do the same things, I think, for the first little bit here. Well, pool goes down. Very good. El Dorado. Actually, now this map does present an opportunity, I'll say, for a little weirder stuff to be set up. Like Dark, I know previous matches I've seen with Dark on this map, he loves to open up this wall. This orange mineral wall and take this base. Absolutely. It feels like every game I see Dark do this. So I do expect to see that. Gives a more forward launching position right over to the opponent's base. If Zoun decides to do the same and open this up, then I think we're going to have a very quick match. I don't see this going terribly long if they both decide to go for the low ground area. Because they're just going to inevitably, naturally clash over the bases here. It's such short distance compared to running around the entire map. The tech choice I'm keen to see as well. Will Zoun just go for the same Stargate setup? But what kind of Stargate is it? A great question, lads, I know. Will it be the defensive Void Ray setup or the Hero Oracle style? We've seen both now. Zoun not afraid to change it up, switch things around, go for a couple different flavors of Protoss. Dark, likewise, went up to that third base. Went up to that third base and decided to just cut the drones there. Said, alright, Hydra making time. Alright. Dark, unsurprisingly, to me at least, is going to take that base. I'm going to opt for the low ground area. Zoun appears to be doing the same. He's mining out this patch. Okay. I'm willing to bet now we're going to have a quicker match. We're going to have a bit more of an aggressive shebang here. The Stargate is going to produce an Oracle. Okay, Oracle's the first choice. Dark. Now, I'm curious, at what point are... Wait, It's not an oracle. Did Dark see it? I think Dark sees it. I think that was the outline of the Void Ray. So Zoun queued up the oracle, but then decided, actually, wait, switcheroo here. We're going for the Void Ray. Huh. Okay. Curious. Very curious. The probe forgets how to mine, I suppose, or wanted the Adept here for the defense. Wanted the Adept here. Zoun not taking any chances. Did not want Dark to be able to slip in a few Zerglings. Would you be that careful? Would you be that careful, Protoss? I tell you, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be that careful. I would open that up, die to 20 Zerglings, and just blame the universe at that point. It's like when I go command center first as Terran. No scout, CC first, and pray. Amen. Dark is getting a roach warren a bit quicker here. No lair in sight. This could just be defensive. It could just be going for defensive roach style. Zoun, on the other side, though, is going for charge and robo. This is going to be a lot of zealots. There's a lot of gateways, too. And Zoun is not really making a lot of probes at this point. I mean, yeah, the bases right now, they're kind of filled up. It's okay, but that's a lot of gateways. Okay, this is definitely an aggressive move. Zoun is opting for, it looks like a heavy zealot play. Dark's going to have some roaches, but will it be enough? Because Dark, I'm not sure, is expecting this kind of move from Zoun. Zoun's been pretty good at denying the vision. Dark knows not a whole lot. Yeah, gosh, not even scouting the Twilight. The amount of gates would be a really big tell, but I don't think Dark's going to be able to see that just yet. And he's walking the queens. Oh no. Oh no. That's not a good mixture. Queen walk versus a charge lot play. These gates are coming online now. Charge is done. +1? No, we don't care about +1. Okay. Instead, we're just going for... These queens have no creep that you're not going to be able to transfuse. This is not at all what Dark, I think, was expecting here. Dark, I think, was expecting it to be a bit more of a normal Oracle play. Ravagers helping out decently. The queens essentially just become a front wall, a barrier for the rest of the Zerg forces, which is going to be quickly cut through thanks to the Protoss Zealot side blades here. Dark scrambling to get some reinforcements here. Defensive roaches, Zerglings. I don't think this is going to matter, though. I think Zoun just won this. I think Zoun just took this with the strategy move, with the compositional choice. Kind of a little bit of a fake out with the Oracle at the start. The Zealots are in the base. There's no way Dark is cleaning all of this up. Absolutely not. Ravager unable to hold the front door. The drones in peril. Now the hatchery, I'm sure, will be quickly falling behind it. Oh god, this hurts. Right in the Zerg. Zoun's gonna take it. Get out of here. Dark, I think, expecting this to be a bit more of a normal style match. Zoun deciding to cut the workers at the 2 base point and just go for the boatload of charge lots. Friends, see, it's easy. Protoss player, that's all you gotta do, apparently. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.